Okay, hi. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview. I was wondering if you could tell me your name and how old you are.
My name's Joe Sullivan and I am 19 years old.
Oh, thank you, Joe, very much for doing the interview. I appreciate it.
No
So,
problem.
Joe, I'm interested in asking you about how you coped for the last 6 months in this very strange lockdown. So, I wondered if you could just give us some idea of what your life has been like over the last 6 months.
My life in the past 6 months has been quite slow in a way. Very slow. It's like,
Yeah.
it's very much the days sort of merge into one.
Oh, yeah.
So, and
What's different about before lockdown to what your life was like in lockdown?
well, I remember before lockdown, I can only, my days were pretty filled with different things, like maybe go to college, go to my various youth groups, depending on what day of the week it was,
Yeah.
that sort of thing. And then suddenly, bam, like it's almost overnight. It's like you no longer have college anymore to go to. You're just doing it online. All your youth groups are pretty much closed down for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. What did that feel like?
It was strange because you go from suddenly trying to find time to yourself to suddenly having nothing but time.
Oh, right. Okay. So, and what did you do? Were you in the house with the rest of your family? Did you spend a lot of time in your room?
Yeah, I spent most of my day would be spent in my room,
Okay.
mostly on my laptop or.
And how did you feel in yourself?
I feel unsure of myself at times because I use it. You have a lot of thinking time.
Yeah.
So I sort of started to question things, like thinking, was it about my life? Thinking, was this the right thing to do? Did I choose the right course and stuff?
So did you worry? Did you feel like you were worrying more?
Yeah, I felt like I was worrying more because I felt like maybe this wasn't the right course for me. Maybe
Yeah.
I should have taken a different class or something.
And what do you think your mental health was like then?
It was very hit and miss. At the beginning of lockdown, the first 2 weeks were pretty hard. Very low mood most of the time. Just thinking, what am I supposed to be doing?
Yeah. Did you find it repetitive, the days?
Definitely. I mean, in the very beginning, because I didn't find this out till about early April, that people with such as special needs in a way
Yeah.
were actually allowed to leave the house more than once in a day, kind of thing.
Oh, right.
But I didn't know that until about early April. So at first, when they said, "Okay, only leave your house once a day," I took that literally as only leave your house once a day.
Yeah.
So I'd normally not leave the house till about 10 or 9 at night for about half an hour to go walking around in my neighbourhood.
Yeah.
And I think in a way that probably, even though it was nice to get out of the house, I don't think in a way it was very healthy because first of all, I'm not exactly getting any sunlight. So,
Yes.
And just a whole day. I don't think like keeping your bedroom window open in the daytime really helps us contribute to sunlight. But I started going for afternoon walks over time.
Yeah. And so, being as you said that you struggled quite a bit in the first 6 months of lockdown, can you tell me, did Manchester City Council put anything on for you over the last 6 months that helped you cope or change the way that you were feeling to a more positive outlook? And could you give me some examples of that, Joe?
Yeah, a good example would be recently I spent some time with the Greater Manchester Youth Network,
Okay.
where we about 6 of us gathered in a room together.
Was that social distancing?
Oh yeah, social distancing.
Yeah.
Yeah, like at one point someone else had to come in the room, so it was like someone had to leave the room.
Right.
It was like, okay, one out.
Yeah.
And we discussed our thoughts on the lockdown and about how other young people might have felt during it this time.
Yeah. And I guess, would you say that was like collaborative work, co-production work? Did they say that was being fed back to the council?
We've got 2 more sessions to happen, but yes, it will be fed back to the council.
Okay, and how did that make you feel, being able to interact with people because that was put on for you?
It was nice, I mean, to actually see people in the flesh for the first time, and some of these people in possibly months.
Yeah. And what else did you do? So how else did you stay connected with people? Was there anything else that the council put on that you found useful?
Yes, I did attend the Youth Cooperative College online Zoom meeting.
What was that about? What was that like?
It would be every Tuesday for an hour and a half in the afternoon. A group of us would meet on Zoom together.
Yeah.
To discuss sort of like the youth issues of today. For example, like maybe kind of sometimes I'd be a guest speaker. Sometimes we run the session ourselves.
Yeah.
You know, as young people, maybe be on like youth loneliness or the environment.
Oh, that's interesting.
How we found lockdown.
Yeah.
And
how again did that make you feel? Because I guess you would have been in your bedroom doing the Zoom meeting. So do you think that even though you were in your bedroom, that piece of work, the fact you were interacting with people, do you feel that helped at all with your mental health?
It did, because I found the conversation. It was nice to have stimulating conversation in a way. Because you know, it's like within reason. Like, even though I've got the people I live with, it's like, sure, you can have conversations with them, but sometimes there's only so much you can say to them after so long being with them, kind of thing. You kind of run out of things to say. Did
you really feel that you missed seeing your friends? You know, before the lockdown, you could do as you pleased. Did that hit you hard, not being able to, you know, in the first 6 months, not being able to communicate with your friends? So did you feel that the Zoom was one way that helped you?
Definitely. I mean, you know, thankfully we live in a sort of way, I'm thankful we live in a social media driven age.
Yeah.
So like, I read an article at one point about if this had happened in 2005.
Yeah.
Which was really interesting, because, you know, like, most things are still very much most of social media was in very early stages back then.
So picking up on that then, is there anything that, if we went into a second lockdown, I hope we don't, but is there anything that you think Manchester City Council could be doing more to help young people stay connected? Did you mention earlier, when we were off camera, something you did with the Youth Network? Can you tell me a little bit about that and what's it called?
Yes, I am a member of the Greater Manchester Combined Youth Authority.
Yeah.
Which is sort of like the city of the Manchester City, the council's youth advisory board that also sort of advises Andy Burnham, the mayor, in a way.
Wow.
And we let's see.
Did you talk about how best, if there was another lockdown, what else Manchester City Council could help to support you? Was that discussed?
Yes, we had a discussion at one point, quite recently actually, about informing people of what goes on in Manchester.
What, young people?
Yes, because there is a lot that goes on that, honestly, if I wasn't a member of some of these youth boards, I wouldn't even know existed.
Wow, that's really interesting.
I didn't even realise until maybe very late last year there was even a place even a place called the Youth Zone.
Okay, so would that be one thing if we were to go into another or even if we weren't in a lockdown? Would you say that communicating better with young people about what's on offer for them would be something you'd want to see more of?
Definitely, I think. I know there are young people that some young people that rely quite heavily on these kind of groups.
Yeah.
As their main source of social interaction.
Yeah, you talked earlier off camera about your friend being outgoing. Do you want to say a little bit more about that and how it affected him?
Yes, he's a very outgoing guy. Like, he's used to going around meeting people. He's a very sociable guy.
Yeah.
And it's only how that taken from him sort of hit him quite hard at times.
Yeah.
Because he
And did he use all the kind of social media? Did you meet him on social media so you could at least chat?
Yes,
Brilliant.
I had him on Facebook, so we would sometimes have like brief few minutes discussions from time to time on Facebook about what we've been up to recently, how we're feeling, kind of thing.
Yeah. So would you say that social media is something that, and the Zoom and all those kind of things is something that really, and the way that Manchester was interacting with outside agencies, do you think that really helped you cope a little bit better with the lockdown?
Definitely, because sometimes some of these Zoom meets could be the highlight of my week at times.
Wow. Oh, Joe, I really appreciate you taking time to talk to me. Is there any last things you want to say?
yes, I would like to say to the Manchester City Council that I think you should really consider the effect that these youth groups can have on young people, the positive outcome they can have on them.
Oh, thank you, Joe, and I really appreciate your time again. Thank you.
No problem.